What up, y'all? It's your boy back again with another reaction video. Today we have testimony from three people today. What we'll start with is from the first witness, who was Diana Copeland, a former personal executive assistant of R.Kelly who worked for the singer off and on for the past 15 years. Well, for 15 years. She began the day testifying about feeling coerced into doing some bizarre things at his direction. She described one incident in 2019, which Robert Kelly asked if she was wired and being presented with a robe with the understanding that she had to take her clothes off and wear the robe to talk to him so he could be sure she wasn't wired. I don't want to say how outrageous some of the testimony is at this point. But again, here's someone who's been working for him for 15 years. She's been well aware of all of the things he's been involved with. And you still find yourself working for him in 2019. Even after the surviving R. Kelly releases, you still find yourself employed by him. Which again goes to, there's no moral code here for anything going on. Most of these people just, as I've stated throughout all of these episodes, there's some financial gain. And that's all this has ever been about for everyone involved. If I'm being paid, I'm willing to look the other way. Copeland described Kelly as being upset and was asked to write a letter in which she stated he has never been physically, verbally, or mentally abusive to anyone. When asked if she was being truthful, she replied that she probably should have said she had never seen him be physically abusive. That would mean then she was being truthful in it. Because that's all she can go off of, is her own personal accounts of the situation. Now, of course, she did clear and make it be known that she had never seen him be physically abusive, which means she has seen him be verbally and mentally abusive, which again, you sat by for 15 years and watched it. But none of the people who sat around and watched, none of the co-conspirators in any of this will be charged. And I think that's the sad part about it all. Even leading up to us discussing Aaliyah. Her parents, relatives, all that were involved in bringing that young lady into his lair, nobody's going to be charged for it. Asked if she ever got into any verbal altercations with Kelly, Copeland said she acknowledged their exchanges could get heated, usually over fines. She acknowledged there were times when she cried or quit. Yet she kept coming back. Copeland also described another letter she wrote at his bidding in which she confessed to stealing money from him and being contrite about it, acknowledging that he was a forgiving person and gushed about how loving and giving he was. And had she simply asked him for the money, she wrote, he would have given it to her. Copeland denied ever stealing money from Kelly. Yet, as an adult, grown woman, you wrote the letter anyway. And it seems to me no one ever has a problem with any of the things these adults are in here doing. Because if he's not forcing you to write these letters, if you're not in a sexual relationship with him, then that means that what? There's a cost on your head. Everyone has a price. And your price is money. Some people's price are other things. But your price is money. And you're willing to sacrifice your moral code for money and fame. Now, on cross-examination by R. Kelly's defense attorneys, Copeland said she was being truthful when she described R. Kelly as giving and loving. So if she was being truthful about giving and loving, that means part of the letter you were being truthful with, but you said you never stole any money. So now again, how am I to believe that part? Which is why I told you guys, unless they bring that young lady who was in that video and have her testify, none of these witnesses really come off as being credible. They're all liars at the end of the day. They were all people who were involved with him reaping some type of monetary or celebrity benefit from him. Copeland says she returned to R. Kelly after leaving because she liked the job. I don't know why you would. How could you like something where you're constantly crying and constantly quitting? And after a series of heated objections, she acknowledged that fines are common in the music business. She also agreed that she left because she wasn't in sync with Kelly's management team and that she returned to help Kelly locate lost money. Now, right here is where I'm telling you why we shouldn't be in this case at this point with her testimony right here. Copeland testified that the singer had no control over his bank account, didn't know where his royalties were going, and didn't even know his own social security number, remarking it was a huge problem. So again, how are we having racketeering charges and saying he's the kingpin of all of this when you have the government's witness saying what? He had no control over his own money, didn't know where his royalties was going, and didn't even know his own social security number. Again, I told you episodes ago, the man is functioning. I won't even say, he is a functioning literate human being at this point. She was charged with making sure his household ran smoothly, which included his properties at Olympia Fields and Trump Tower. Copeland agreed that some of the rules that his guests had to follow were made by his wife. And again, this is what I'm telling you. There are a lot of people and a lot of moving parts involved in this case. There's a lot of people involved in what was going on, and they're allowed to get out scot-free and go start new TV shows. They're allowed to go sit in front of Gayle King. They're allowed to play the damsel in distress and act like they had no clue. Oh, I was being abused too by him. Yeah, he was just a monster. I didn't know what was going on. You have a woman right here testifying that the man didn't have control over his bank account, didn't know where his royalties were going, and didn't even know his own social security number. Yet you're telling me this was the man running this elaborate scheme. They robbed this man blind. Yes, he has some issues. He's a sexual deviant. I don't think anyone wants to disagree with that. But running this whole racketeering scheme, nah, I'm not buying that at all. Kanik likened the permission to leave rooms as being no different than the ones the government imposes on its witnesses, noting that she had to be escorted to the bathroom when she met with prosecutors. Copeland also agreed that, well, if you're in a relationship with somebody, I would never compare this to being a witness of the government. But okay, again, I don't know why he chose these lawyers. I don't know who's around him who has these lawyers asking these questions, but some of the cross-examination questions lead me to believe that they don't have his best interests at heart either. Copeland also agreed that Kelly sponsored extravagant shopping trips for his girlfriends that included an escort, but she did not observe any instances in which he personally stopped them from leaving his home. And when they did, he paid for their travel. And again, I told you, I can't say he was holding them hostage if every witness is saying I got fed up and I left. All of these women who are popping up are saying what? Hey, he would fly me out to this destination. We would have sex, or he would use me this way, fly me back home. Well, let me go shop and then fly me back home, then fly me back out to the next destination. So you have a lot of women who are saying the same things, but it's contradictory testimony. It's contradictory testimony because you got me over here saying he's holding me hostage, yet whenever I feel like leaving, I just got up and left. You have women saying he's abusing me and physically abusive and emotionally abusive, and one is saying he raped me, yet when he flew you back home and called you again, you flew back out again. It's hard for me to take any of these witnesses serious. A letter written by Copeland was read aloud. The letter stated, "Dear Robert, this is the hardest letter to write. I have stolen money from you. I am truly disappointed in myself and ashamed. You are a forgiving person, giving and loving. I don't feel deserving of your love. I will never betray you again. I love you." However, when the prosecutor asked Copeland to clarify whether she'd ever stolen from the defendant, she denied ever stealing from R.Kelly. It's hard to trust that also, because she just said he had she returned to help him locate lost money. She said he had no control over his bank account, didn't know where his royalties were, or didn't even know his own social security number. So is it possible she stole from him? Sure it is. Man's illiterate. It sure is possible she stole from him. However, man, my allergies killing me today. However, when the prosecutor, okay, we read that. Canning also tried to get Copeland to confirm that daddy is a term of endearment. He asked her about the lyrics to the song Chocolate Factory when Kelly refers to himself as daddy. Daddy is not a term of endearment. But again, I don't know who this Mr. Canning guy is. I don't. He might be worse than Mike Tyson lawyers when Tyson got arrested for rape and got locked up for it. Copeland said she was unable to recall the lyrics to the song. When asked why she had to knock before exiting the tour bus bathroom, she said it was because the door was located across from the bus's microwave oven and that someone could be walking by the door with hot food or water. It's a logical explanation. Copeland testified that she never served Jane Doe number 6 alcohol, nor did she ever sit outside the stall while Jane Doe number 6 used the bathroom. She also testified that Kelly's team implemented a female-only Uber driver rule for safety reasons. And the country singer who got beat by the Uber driver, those who saw that video, no, I feel the same way. I think women do themselves a disservice by getting in cars, especially late at night with male Uber drivers. A lot of these guys are sexual deviants and perverts also. So, and if something goes left, a female is not getting ready to be able to overpower a sexually charged man at that point. So I don't have any problems with that either. Copeland also testified that she was never instructed to recruit women for Kelly and that she never heard anyone else instructed to do so. Which again, now, I don't buy that. because all celebs have people all male celebs that I know of, athletes, rappers, singers, they all have it. So I need to grab a hog, man. There we go. But all celebs have it. And it's just so you're not out in the open. So if it's, yo, you know my type. Yeah, he might like her. He might like her, or he might like her. You know, you want to come meet my man backstage, or he's staying a couple blocks down at this hotel. You want to come and meet up with him later. Or he may see her out and he may disappear and say, yo, follow her and get her number for me. So when she said she was never instructed to recruit women for Kelly and that she never heard anyone else instructed to do so, I find it hard to believe also. Copeland admitted that she did things because Kelly asked her to do it as her boss. Regarding R.Kelly's literacy, Copeland testified that she communicated with him via text, that he often used talk to text, and before that feature existed, she helped him draft text messages. So again, like I told you, they're painting him as this kingpin in the lead of this whole big elaborate plan and scheme. Yet we're finding out what? The man couldn't read or write. Didn't know where his bank accounts was. Doesn't know his own social security number. Doesn't know where his royalties are going. Yet he's the king of all of this. He's running the whole operation. So now we get to the second witness. And she goes by the name of Angela. And she testified today that she saw Mr. Kelly engaging in a sex act with R&B singer Aaliyah around 93, when Aaliyah was only 13 or 14 years old. The woman who testified under only the name Angela told jurors at Mr. Kelly's criminal trial in Brooklyn that she was performing with Mr. Kelly on tour when she went to visit the singer on his tour bus. But as she began to open the door, Angela said she saw Mr. Kelly, who was in his mid-20s at the time, and Aaliyah in a sexual situation. She told jurors. Aaliyah was seated in a chair, she said, and Mr. Kelly was kneeling and appeared to be performing a sex act on the girl. Angela closed the door abruptly, she said, and never spoke with Mr. Kelly about what she saw. Now again, because she was 15 at the time, I'm not going to come down hard and say what I probably would say if that was an adult. But what we must also state is what? It probably wasn't too alarming to her, because I told you what? A lot of 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds are sleeping with who? The dope boys. When you see these 15, 16-year-old girls pregnant, it's usually by somebody 19, 20, 21, 22. When you see them always popping up with new Jordans and they don't have a job, who do you think is funding this? When you see all these IG models, 19, 20, 21, and they getting flew out all over the place, who do you think is funding his lifestyle? Now, the testimony came on the 15th day of Mr. Kelly's trial. So I guess this is the 15th day. I wonder why I missed the 14th day then. Or maybe I combined the 13th. I probably combined the 13th and 14th day, because I see what they're talking about. I just talked about that on the last one. So testimony came on the 15th day of Mr. Kelly's trial, during which 6 accusers, including Angela, have said that Mr. Kelly had sex with them while they were underage. So again, even Angela have said that Mr. Kelly had sex with them. So she stated she had sex with him also. But it's like I said, man, at what point do we have this conversation? Is it nature or is it nurture? We know it's not nature, but we know who's nurtured the environment for these young ladies to think, hey, let me use my vagina as a weapon. Let me use my vagina as a mean and a form of and a way of getting sex and getting monetary things from men and women. Who's nurtured that environment for them? It's not their daddies. I don't know any father who enjoys or wants to hear that their daughter is having sex. So we know it's not their father who's nurtured this environment. So who's nurtured this environment for them? Who showed them how to play this game? Who showed the Kardashians how to maneuver like that? Who showed these Instagram models how to maneuver like that? Who showed Black China how to maneuver like that? These people are operating and running businesses with their mothers at this point. Now, Angela's account stood apart from the others. Aaliyah, whom Mr. Kelly married illegally in '94, is the youngest girl that the singer has been accused of sexually abusing. And Angela became the first accuser to testify that she had seen the two engaged in sexual acts. Aaliyah, whose full name is Aaliyah Dana Harden, died in a plane crash in '01. Again, could she have seen that? She sure could have. Does she have proof? No. The best we're going to get is I can prove I was on tour with her. And that's about it. I would love to know who she really is, because then I could do a deep dive into who that person is and how that person behaves. And is that person credible? But again, this case, they've kept everyone in secret. Everybody really is basically operating under the Jane Doe moniker or the John Doe. Also on Monday, we had a male accuser testified against R. Kelly, and a witness identified only as Alex said Mr. Kelly groomed him for sex beginning when he was 16. He said they began having sex when he was 20. So for 4 years he was grooming him. And said so for 4 years he was grooming him, and he waited till he became an adult to do what he did. Like I just said, now the man is a sexual deviant. Now, again, could he have had sex with these guys? It's possible. It's very possible. Do I believe it? Not really. Because to me, these things would have came out years ago. I've never heard of any of this until this trial. So, I don't know what to do with that. He said that they began having sex when he was 20, and said that from 2007 to 2019, he was brainwashed by the singer. And I don't want to say damsel in distress, but here we go again with another male. Because either if the male was straight at 20 years old, you're a heterosexual 20-year-old male, you're an adult making that decision at this point. But what he's trying to do is paint the picture of I was groomed, and from 16 to 20, he was setting me up to change me from being heterosexual to bisexual. Then from there, I was brainwashed for 12 years. I'm not responsible for my actions at all. That's bullshit. That's complete BS. But the one thing I've said going through all of this is you see how foul all the other human beings are who's involved in this. This is one big sex party that's been going on. And like I said, if the government truly cared, if the city of Chicago truly cared, if the state of Illinois truly cared, they would have got him when he married Aaliyah and divorced Aaliyah. But unfortunately, her parents didn't want any part of that. Why not? Because they wanted the money. So that's fine. That's cool. You had your chance again with the 15-year-old girl on the sex tape, and you didn't get him again. So I don't know really, like I said, what to say about the rest of this. So Alex also testified to countless sexual encounters with the R&B superstar and other women at Mr. Kelly's direction. He testified that for more than a decade, he often saw the singer at parties and pickup basketball games, what he called Kelly ball, in which you get the ball, rebound, let them shoot at a recreational center and a church gymnasium in Chicago. Now, I can't say he's lying there. I have heard the stories of even way back then, R.Kelly shot all the shots. If you was on his team, you was just there to rebound. So, that is what that is. But this guy's stating what? He got a chance to sleep with a lot of beautiful women. And he got a chance to get money from R. Kelly. And what he's really telling you is I got a chance to live this lifestyle. And the only thing I really had to do was perform a few sexual acts, either on him or receive from sexual acts from him. That was the price he was willing to pay to get to where he needed to get to. So he also goes to state Mr. Kelly's first made an advance on him inside the singer's Maybach when Alex was about 20 years old. Now, he told you he had been being groomed since he was 16, though. But no sexual advance had been made for 4 years. I recall him just talking to me, then forcefully kissing me, licking my face, he said, adding that afterward, Mr. Kelly told him just to be open-minded. Again, like I said, I don't know how you could say I was being groomed for 4 years and he hadn't made any sexual advances until he was 20 years old. During sexual encounters with Mr. Kelly, he said the singer referred to him as nephew, although Alex testified they are not related. He said he was directed to call Mr. Kelly daddy. Sometimes afterward, he said Mr. Kelly would slap 100 or two in my hand just for gas, my time. Paid for services. Now, do I believe he told him to call him daddy? No, I don't. Don't believe that at all. And the reason why I don't believe that is because that seems to be the theme of this whole trial is the word daddy and him being the father of all of these young children. And that seems to be now the theme was, everybody had to call me daddy. So do I believe that was actually going on? No, because they keep saying chocolate factory. And him using that word in that song on the album Chocolate Factory. Chocolate Factory came out in the 2000s. This stuff with R. Kelly has been going on again since I was in middle school. We're talking 92, 93, way before Chocolate Factory ever existed. And again, do I believe R. Kelly would allow him to be called daddy by another man out in public? Not happening. Not in Chicago. On one occasion, he said Mr. Kelly told him he had a gift for him and instructed him to wait in a room. Alex said he believed was the bedroom of one of the singer's children. He believed, not sure. But see, that's foul to now create the imagery in you guys' heads of we was sleeping in his, we was having sex basically in his children's room. which now puts the image in your head of, did he touch his children? Mr. Kelly had set up an iPad and production lights and directed Alex to take off his clothes. Then the singer sent the half-naked lady into the room. He pretty much told us to go at it, but we didn't know what to do because he was still in the room, he said, adding that the singer then told us to start kissing each other and to mean it. Mr. Kelly began recording Alex and then masturbating as he directed them through a series of sex acts. During the encounters, the women whose names he did not know appeared zombie-ish, she said. So that's the end of Alex's testimony. And what we'll end with is what? Alex basically ended that testimony telling you what? That he raped those women. Not R.Kelly. He told you, Alex told you, he was being forced to sleep with women who appeared zombie-ish. And not even forced. Just told them to go at it, but the women appear zombie-ish. Those are women who are not in their right mind at this point. Now, is Alex being charged with rape? No. And you know why? Because it's not important to the government. If what Alex is saying is true, then Alex raped multiple women. And he just admitted to it on stand. This is your boy, the Hood Nerd, man. I'm out.